welcome back to Mika Reacts and Reviews, where we react to review to things on the internet, same day, same shirt, different video. And today we're returning to Dr. Jordan Peterson, and we are going to get deep and emotional with him today, where Dr. Jordan Peterson is asked about how he's feeling and how he's doing. I think that's the title of the video. I'll put the correct title on the screen if that's not the title. So we're getting right into it, but before you do, if you like this type of videos, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to get the notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support this channel even further, you can donate. My PayPal and my Cash App link is in the description box below and also in the comment section. Of course it helps, but you don't have to. You can just like, comment, and subscribe. Another great way to support this channel is either join my brand new membership program, different levels, different tiers, different perks, or you can visit my brand new merch shop. Links down below. Other than that, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Alright, here we go.
I had a guest actually come on this podcast before Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr was on 2 weeks ago, and we had a great conversation about happiness and the nature of happiness. And the guest before Jimmy Carr wrote in my diary, which is a tradition we have now, where all the guests that come on write a question for the next guest. So there is a question there for you. But the guest wrote a question which changed his life, which is, are you happy? And I, from reading your work and understanding your position on happiness and it not being the thing to aim for, which really struck me, because I thought, you know, I thought life was the North Star of our lives was to try and be happy. I guess my question is, what I was going to ask you that question.
Aim to be good and pray for happiness.
So the question I was going to, is pretty much that is, what is a better question for me to ask you if I'm checking in on you? Because we asked that question with good intentions. Are you happy? What's a better question for me to ask Jordan Peterson?
How are you doing?
How are you doing? How are you doing?
Brilliantly and terribly. That's you know, when you listen to a profound piece of music, one that sort of spans the whole emotional experience, it's not happy. Happy is elevator music, and probably you just shouldn't listen to that at all, right? And you think, why? Well, it's harmless, it's treacly, it's sweet, it's simple, it lacks depth, it's shallow, that's a problem. It doesn't have that deep sense of awe and horror, I would say, that is characteristic of the best of all music. You know, you listen to some simple music, so-called. Hank Williams is a good example. You know, the blues cowboy from the 50s who died of alcoholism when he was 27 and whose voice sounds like an 80-year-old man. Simple melody, you know, but there's nothing simple in the song and in the voice. It's deep, you know, it's like the blues. It's like black blues in the States from the 20s, and this was certainly influenced by that tradition. There's this admission of a deep suffering at the same time as you get the beautiful transcendence of the music. And that's meaning, you know, that's awful in the most fundamental sense, but you need an antidote to suffering, and it has to be deep. And you know, deep moves you tectonically, and it's not a trivial thing. But that's better than happiness. And maybe if you're lucky while you're pursuing that and while you're immersed in it, you get to be happy, and you should fall on your knees and be grateful for that when it happens. You know, it's a gift. It really is a gift. And it comes upon you unexpectedly, your happiness, you know. But you aim to climb uphill to the highest peak you can possibly envision. And that's better than happiness.
Stopping it there, wow. I'm so glad he used music as his example in his metaphor, because he's right. Like, the music that moves you to tears, the music that touches you deeply to your soul, that makes your brain tingle, is not happy, upbeat music. It's that music that's deep and nuanced and has some sort of pain into it, that's relatable, that comes from struggle, that comes from intellect and something in depth, you know what I mean? And he's right about that. It's the same thing when it comes to anything with me when it comes to media, when it comes to movies and film. The reason why I prefer drama or documentaries or even things with that dark imagery or twist or that's a bit twisted or dark humor is because there's something more relatable to the human experience when it comes to being able to relate to someone's darkness or sadness or going through something really terrible and then coming out at top, surviving in the end, right? Making it through the darkness and through the muck and the mud, right? Sometimes it doesn't always end up being a happy ending for a lot of people, but like I think that something just being happy with no pitfalls and no failures and no ups and downs and failures and exceeding, then it's just very, like you said, very vapid, very surface level. This is why I don't necessarily prefer comedy, and I don't watch sitcoms because they're very surface level to me. And I'm glad he really hit on that because I agree, as someone who really loves art and stuff like that, the goal to be happy. What do you guys think? Because I do think that a lot of people, like the pursuit of happiness, right? And he's not saying like don't try to aim for happiness, but it's not like saying like that it shouldn't be your first goal. But I also think it depends on what you actually think happiness is, because I think a lot of people think happiness is just indulging themselves in every pleasure, right? Drugs and food and sex and women, material possessions and money and power and fame and getting likes on social media. I think people kind of conflate that to happiness, and those things don't make you happy. My mom always said, do not strive for happiness, like Jordan Peterson said, but strive for peace of mind and joy. She always said happiness is different from joy, because happiness only happens when something happens, right? Someone gives you a gift and you're happy. You see a friend and you're happy. You win an award and you're happy, but then it completely disappears when that situation ends, right? Internal joy is something that is there even through your hardest, darkest times. Even when you're crying yourself to sleep, that joy is sort of still there, and that's what keeps you moving through the darkness. So I think it really depends on the person. For me, my goal in life is to have a peace of mind and joy. But I think like what he said is strive to be a good person and pray for happiness. Being a good person does add to that joy and add to that peace of mind. Even psychological or documents have proven that when you are a service to others, that actually improves your own state of mind and own state of well-being. So being a good person, of course, would add to your joy and add to your peace of mind. Like, who wants to go around just being a piece of shit? And then when you're by yourself alone, you have to sit in that, right? So if you know that you are an honest person and you hold true to your values and your standards and you're genuine and authentic, that is going to add to your peace of mind and happiness or your joy. So I think it kind of depends on what people think happiness is in today's era. I think because we suffer from an epidemic of junk values, a lot of people's idea of happiness is junk and it's really not substantial or last longing. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking and give the floor back to Dr. Jordan Peterson. All right, let's continue.
Why did you include terribly?
Well, for example, now when I go, wherever I go in the world, people come up to me and they're usually, I wouldn't say they're happy to see me. They're often in tears, and they often have a pretty rough story to relate. They were suicidal or nihilistic or homicidal or trapped, desperate, and they tell me that real fast. And then they say, I've overcome that to a large degree, and thank you for that. And you think, well, that's really something to have that happen over and over. In some ways, you might think, well, how could anything better possibly happen to you than to have people come up to you all over the world, strangers, and open themselves up like that, like they're old friends so quickly. But at the same time, it's an awful thing because you see, even in the revelation of their triumph, the initial depth of their despair. So I wouldn't change that, but it's not nothing. And it's certainly not just happiness. It's better than happiness, but it's almost unbearable.
Stopping it there, sorry guys. I also want to say that even his example when it comes to happy music is so surface. I think if you don't go through any hardships in your life, then your level of joy, happiness, and peace of mind is kind of surface. It's kind of basic because like you relish in those good times and you appreciate and you're more grateful for what you have when you know you've come from nothing. When you know what it's really like to feel like the horror is never going to end, right? And to come out of that. I've been bedridden, depression, crippling depressed. I've been there. I know what it feels like. Oh my God, thank God I am not there anymore. But I almost feel like I wouldn't appreciate the sunsets as much. And I wouldn't appreciate my life as much. And I wouldn't appreciate the little moments as much if I didn't go through those things. I think when everything's handed to you, when you're privileged, when you're spoiled, when you're entitled, you have less grasp on happiness because like you almost think you're owed these things. In life, happiness isn't a guarantee in life, right? So like, yeah, like how can you hate Dr. Jordan Peterson? Like brutally, how can you hate him? Anyway, let's continue.
God, tears again. It's been quite a 2 weeks in the UK. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Such a great country, this country. Such a profound place. And it was so wonderful to see Cambridge and Oxford and to be welcomed by the students. And
I saw the queues around the block and the reaction you got. I watched the talk in Cambridge and it was so wonderful to see because I know that you don't do what you do for credit. That kind of seems to be, the antithesis of the pursuing your truth and doing it in the cause of truth. But it was so wonderful to see someone that I know has had such a profound impact on so many be received in such a way. We have a closing tradition.
Okay.
One of the, I don't normally do this, but one of the really great CEOs in our country, a young guy, has built a multi-billion-dollar company, really great guy, sat here yesterday, and I actually told him for the first time who he was writing the question for, and I couldn't believe his face. Oh my God, that's the one person I want to have dinner with. This is probably the most successful young person in our country. And so he knew who he was writing the question for. So the question that the previous guest wrote is why do you do what you do?
to see what will happen. Some programs you cannot predict, right? You cannot predict how they're going to end. You have to run them. Well, I believe that truth will save the world.
Hopefully.
I believe that. So you speak truthfully and you watch what happens and you take your consequences. And maybe you hope and have some faith that in the final analysis, things will work out in your favor. But perhaps they will and perhaps they won't. But that's faith, eh? That's faith. Faith isn't believing in things you regard as ridiculous, sacrificing your intellect. It's a decision. No. Will truth, beauty, and love save the world? Well, you can find out.
All right, guys, that was Dr. Jordan Peterson. I love this guy. I don't agree with everything he says, but I agree with mostly what he says, and I respect him so much. And how can anybody look at him and think that he's a phobe this or racist that or anything like that? Like, he is such a genuine guy. And honestly, like, the fact that, a lot of red pill communities use Dr. Jordan Peterson to sort of like authoritize what they're saying, because they're taking what Dr. Jordan Peterson has said about gender and relationships and men and women and kind of bastardize it for themselves, for their own platform. But they never show this part of Dr. Jordan Peterson. They never show the emotional, vulnerable side of Dr. Jordan Peterson, to show that a man of intellect, a strong man, can be vulnerable, can be emotional, can cry, and still be really well respected. I love that about him. And I hope he's right about love and truth saving the world. I hope he's right about that. And I guess the only way you can find out is you participate in the love and you participate in the truth. Tell me guys, what do you think of this video? Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of what he said, what I said in the comment section below. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell to get the notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support this channel even further, you can donate. My PayPal link is in the description box below and also in the comment section. Of course, it helps, but you don't have to. You can just like, comment, and subscribe. Another great way to support this channel is either join my brand new membership program, different levels, different tiers, different perks, or you can visit my brand new merch shop. Links down below. I also have a second travel vlog channel. I travel as a lifestyle, or I live abroad. If you'd like to know where I am in the world, you can go to the description box below and also in the comment section. Hit the link, go subscribe to my travel vlog channel, and or follow me on my travel Instagram. My stories is usually what's most up to date. And you guys have an amazing day.